Hey guys, I'm Mark Bridge, and I'm reviewing season 3 premiere of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Laws of Nature. So S.H.I.E.L.D. is back finally, and I was so looking forward to this episode. The I'm a big fan of S.H.I.E.L.D. despite its slow start in the first season. I was one of those haters or one of those guys who left after like the first couple of episodes. It's like we're in a time where a lot of people want the first episode to be like bang. You know what I mean? Like I'm growing. I'm off the time of where you build characters, you build a show over time. It doesn't jump off straight off at the beginning. You build a story, and then season. By the second half of the first season, you see a change, and in the second season, and seasons just get better and better. But that's just me. So I never jumped off Agents of Shield. I always had faith in it. I loved it since season one. So we're here in season three, and I know I'm not the only one who is a big fan of the show. And this first episode, wow, like I mean, you have some weak parts in it, but like I said, it's building off that momentum that started in the second half of season one, and then blew it out the box in season two, and then we're ready. We're rolling. We're officially in inhuman territory, and this isn't just a secret thing that's going on, as this episode clearly states that the public is aware that there's a threat out there. They're not exactly you know fully knowledgeable on the fact that it is humans becoming sort of gaining these powers, but they're aware that something wonky is going on. Right? Um, you know, Jumping straight to the end, President, who was in Iron Man 3, by the way, nice nod to the bigger MCU brother. He basically stated that there's a threat coming, and we need a unit to protect us from this alien threat. So the world has changed, and the TV show is reflecting that big change, and it'll be just douchey on Kevin Feige's part. He runs the movie studio, but it'll be just douchey if like when Civil War comes out, or any movie after Civil War in Phase 3, sort of just brush it off like like things aren't going on seriously in the world that this show is really presenting, and this puts a highlight on what Shield is, on the show is. It's basically world building a lot more than the films are, and they really fans of the MCU need to acknowledge that Shield is doing a really good job right now of world building that universe. So let's just start with a couple, some characters. Obviously we'll start with Daisy, no longer Sky. We hear her being called Sky one time, and that's just sort of like, oh yeah, she's Daisy now. So yeah, she's officially Daisy Johnson, aka Quake, full on display with her costume and her powers. You get to see her, like, apart from a couple of things with Simmons and Hydra. This could really serve as a season one episode of Shield, having Joey sort of the eyes through this new shield, right? Him discovering the fact that he has these melting powers, and him being rescued by Daisy, who is, she's very commanding. So other than the fact that you see Coulson being the director of Shield, she's sort of the first person you get introduced to. If this was the season, series premiere, that she really has a position, a high up position, where she's kind of leading the charge on rescuing Inhumans. So it really shows that the dynamic of the relationship between Coulson and Sky, aka Daisy, has really shifted. From this protege um, kind of relationship to now they're actual partners. I wouldn't say they're equals, because I'm sure Coulson has veto on everything that she does, but he trusts her enough to sort of lead the charge in rescuing these Inhumans. And along the ride, she has Mac with her. They got to be really careful with Mac, though. I mean, he started out as a fan favorite, with him sort of being Fitz's buddy when Simmons was gone, and like we kind of liked that about him. But towards the end of season 2, he started to become a little bit dickish, especially towards um, aliens and people who may be associated with aliens in any way. So they gotta be careful if they want to sort of keep that fan favorite thing going on. They gotta tread that ground, because right now he's like, he's not bad, but if he gets to the point where he's like, regardless if you have power, if you're a good person or not, if you have powers or have anything to do with aliens, I hate you, and it'll just turn people off of Mac. But for now, he's safe. Let's say that. But they got to be careful with that character, unless they're really going for him being sort of a dick. Then I don't know, man. Like the one of the few black characters you have on that show, don't make him a dick, please. But again, let's see how they go with that character. Um, we see Lincoln as well. He's trying to live his life normally, being a doctor, and then it gets uprooted when Daisy and Mac visit him, and Lash comes and interrupts the party. Um, I'm gonna be sort of all over the place with this book because there's so much stuff to talk about. And I also want to give my speculation on things, but Lash, he's one of the weak points, I think, of the episode. I'm not like there's just certain things that look cool in comic books, but if you really translate them, it looks kind of corny. And I think they try to do the comic book look, but I don't know, it just comes off really weird. His fight scenes were cool. Like it really shows that this show is embracing its power roots. It had that really cool corridor fight scene, as much as a TV budget can do, with Daisy and Lincoln facing off against Lash, and it looks like a formidable opponent, but he did a little bit of running and dashing, but I'm excited to see where they go with this character, even though I'm not too keen on this look. Hopefully it'll grow on us, or they find some way. He was mostly in the shadows, so maybe in the second or whatever episode he shows up next, they know they have to really sort of put some finesse onto his look, because that look doesn't. Yeah, sorry, I'm a fan of the show, but I don't like that look at all. All right. What else? Oh, so now we move on to Rosalind. I think that's her name. Constance Zimmer's character. She is the new antagonist for now, of the show. She's just as devious as Coulson. They do a lot of pre-interview. The actors did a lot of pre-interviews. The producers also said that she will be a character that is on Coulson's level. She's just as devious. She's just as smart. And yes, this episode does show that she's no slouch. She pretty much knows a lot of secrets that Coulson never thought she would ever know. She knew about Tahiti, or at least it sounds like she knows about Tahiti. Um, you know, she knows that he was supposedly dead, and she pretty much knows a lot of stuff. That's pretty cool. So yeah, it's I like the switch that they did. You thought she was the one who was killing these Inhumans, but it turns out nope, it was Lash. So it's still out there if she's a good guy or bad guy. The unit she leads, ATCU, Alien Threat Containment Unit, doesn't sound very friendly towards extraterrestrials, but Gotta have a name for something. So it's yet to see if she's gonna be a truly bad guy or not. If I had to speculate, which is I'm doing a little bit of speculation now, give you my thoughts. I don't think she's gonna be a complete bad guy. It's especially leading into Civil War. I think that will play a big part into where the show will cross over into the movie with this unit sort of leading the charge. Maybe like, okay, she sees there's an actual threat out there. Maybe there are good guys, but there's something going on. So I think they're gonna paint her in the light further down, in that she's not completely villainous, but just something that has to be done. Another speculation, as you notice that when Coulson was doing his investigation on her, she had, multitudes of aliases. I would guess she's Abigail Brand. Now, Abigail Brand is the leader in the comic books. She's a leader, a character created by Joss Whedon, no less. Um, she's a character who leads a offshoot unit of S.H.I.E.L.D. called S.W.O.R.D. that monitors extraterrestrial activities. Um, I think she's a mutant herself, if I'm not mistaken. So she does have some powers. I don't know if they'll go deep into that, but I think she's Abigail Brand, or if that's gonna be one of her aliases, or it could be her real name. If I had to speculate on that, and that ATCU by the end of this season will eventually become Sword. I can like picture it, and that would be so amazing if that's the case. I'm not the only one who has this uh, idea, but that's my speculation that she will be Abigail Brand, and ATCU will become Sword. Um, Fitz. Now Fitz, he's one of those characters that have changed drastically ever since the season finale of season two. You've had Simmons sort of gone missing. More on that later. Sucked up by the monolith, obelisk. Sorry, but he's sort of like more badass now. I like the new Fitz. It's pretty cool. Even though hopefully they still keep him smart and just like intelligent, knowing different things to create. But he looks more badass now, and I like that. We saw him visiting Morocco to try to get some information from these bad guys, and he really he outsmarted them. I would say it's a little bit of luck, but he really outsmarted. He came prepared basically, and he finally got that piece of paper, which turns out that it didn't really help. Um, I was He did mention something pretty interesting. Speculation time again. Um, that he believes the obelisk has to do with space time warping stuff. Um, I really hope that in order to make even this show more relevant to the MCU, even though the ratings aren't there, but I think they'll go for broke on this one. I hope they go for broke on this one. Is that obelisk either is or houses the time gem now, or time stone, because they call them stones, right? It looks like a big ass stone, so why couldn't that be the time stone, right? Um, so I was half hoping that when he opens that piece of paper, it says time, but it says death, which still could play into Thanos, because Thanos worships death. Um, but yeah, it's I I believe that's the time stone or time gem. I'm putting it out there, folks. I'm putting it out there. Now, I guess we can talk about Hunter and Bobby. Not much went down with those characters. We see that Hunter wants to go after Ward for what he did to Bobby. So we didn't get much movement on that one. So I guess that's another weak part on that episode. And besides, it just felt like they were fighting again. Granted, I was glad it didn't turn out they were doing that whole fight thing that they were doing. Like, oh my god, really, we're gonna do that again? But they're still very much in love. Bobby she's on the injured list, so in the comics and looks like in the show, she's very she has a biology degree, so she's now in the lab staring at screen. So I think she's kind of holding the fort of Simmons while she's away. God knows where. I'll get to that soon. So yeah, for now, Bobby and Hunter aren't doing that much. I guess I don't know if they're saving them up for their potential spin-off show, Marvel's Most Wanted, or we have yet to see them really go out and do some cool action stuff. But I'll be keeping an eye on them. But for now, they really didn't do too much. Absent from this episode was May. She's off vacationing with her ex boo. But what else? And we didn't see Ward. So we heard about what Hydra is doing, but we didn't see Ward. So I guess we'll see him next episode. So what else? I think that about covers everything that went on in the episode. It was, like I said, it was a solid start to season 3, and I can't wait to see what they have in store. Now, speculating on that post credit scene, we see Gemma pretty much running from something in a deserted area. I was so hoping, right? Like the reveal would show that she is somewhere back in time. That would have been so awesome. She could still be in the past, but from the looks of though that big planet and that small moon, she's not in anywhere in our solar system. It doesn't seem, unless way back in time things look very differently. I don't know if they're gonna go that route, but so far we know she's not on Earth, or don't think she's on Earth, and she could not be in our time either, which would lend more credence to the fact that that's a time stone, which I hope that's the time stone. So I guess time will tell if I'm right, which I hope I'm right. And so you guys can leave a comments and tell me, what do you think? Where do you think Gemma is? What do you think? Do you think Rosalind is Abigail Brand and ATCU will become Sword? Any other speculation you have, just leave in the comments below. So subscribe to the channel, like this video, and visit Pop Culture Galaxy for all your entertainment goodies. And follow me on Twitter. I'm at Marky Tundra. So until next time, folks, peace.